If you fall down, don't wait. Don't wait. Go after what you want. So I'm gonna tell you guys my story, and I wanna share, where I came from and some of the stuff that I went through. And my intention with today is I wanna inspire every single one of you to chase your dreams and go after something that you wanna do. So my story, I started out in Calgary, Alberta when I met Johannes. And I'm actually gonna go way back because I grew up with adversity. My mom had me when she was 17 years old. My dad wasn't around, and all my brothers and sisters are white, so I was the only dark skin member of my family. So I remember at 7 years old, I started asking questions. Started asking my mom, I'm like, why am I the only black person in the family? Like, why is my sister's skin white? Like, why, I had all these questions, and my mom didn't want to answer. So my mom would tell me, she would just lie to me. Your father passed away in an accident, and stop asking me these questions. And even at 7 years old, I was wise enough to know that she was lying. And so I was so angry. I was 7 years old. I was angry. I couldn't figure out why I was so different. And I always felt like I didn't belong. Not having a dad around at 7, 8, 9, 10, I just felt lost. We didn't have a lot of money. And so I'd watch these kids around me, and I'd watch these kids that were getting new clothes and coming to school with new shoes. And I just didn't have that. We lived in a trailer park. So at 7 years old, my mom got sick of my questions, and she ended up calling my grandma in front of me, and she was like, if you don't come pick this kid up, I'm gonna send him to foster care. I was in the room when that happened. So I was angry. My grandma came and she picked me up, and from that moment, I was raised by my grandma. From 7 years old onwards, I was raised by my grandma. Going into junior high and high school was very confusing because not having a father figure around, it was very I was very impressionable, People were starting to drink, they were starting to smoke weed, they were starting to party, and I didn't have a dad to be like, don't do that. It's not a good move. And I thought it was cool. I wanted to fit in, right? I wanted to party. I wanted to be like everybody else. And so I started drinking, I started partying. How many of you guys have done that? Raise your hand, don't lie. I see you. It's all good. I thought it was cool, right? That's what everybody was doing. All the popular people were partying, all the cool kids were partying, so I thought that's what I wanted to do. So 14, 15, 16, I started drinking, started partying. Started screwing around. And then I found football. And football was the first thing that I ever found in my life where I realized I was in love with something. Football was the first thing I ever found in my life where I was like, this is something that I could see myself doing forever. If you feel that, make some noise. If you feel that, make some noise. Football was the one thing that gave me that passion for life. It gave me that purpose. Every time I came on the field, I was like, oh, this is I could do this for the rest of my life. But I sucked. I wasn't very good, let's be honest. In grade 10, I was the worst player on the team. Couldn't catch anything. I'd never played sports in my life. My family couldn't afford to put me in sports, which is why I think this is really cool because you guys get the opportunity to play with each other, and there's a camp that comes together that's sponsoring you guys. Make some noise if you guys are excited about that, right? That's cool, right? I didn't have that. So grade 10, I ended up getting most improved player on the team. By grade 11, I became a savage. By the way, guys, if you want to be successful at anything, all it takes is hunger and desire. You could literally be the slowest person here, and by next year, you could be the best person on the team. Do you guys understand that? Every skill is learnable. Here's the biggest mistake most people make, right? Most people think, oh, if you have natural ability, you're automatically going to be successful. That's not true. A lot of the natural athletes that I knew in high school are smoking weed, or they're in jail, or they're working at McDonald's now. The guys that are in the league I'm 31, I'm old now, guys. The guys that are in the league that I was playing in high school with are the guys that were working the hardest. They're not the most talented. Usually the most talented is the most lazy. Does that make sense? They're like, I don't need to work hard. I don't need to show up to practice early. I'm good already. For me, I wasn't the most talented, but I was the most hungry. I was the guy that was on the field first. I was the guy that left the field last. I was the guy that people were like, yo, you need to chill and practice, dog. Why are you going so hard? Relax. I wasn't trying to relax. I was trying to be the best. So by the time I got to grade 11, I went from most improved player to captain of the team. By the time I got to grade 12, I went from most improved player to captain of the team to we went to city finals with Johannes' help. But after, in high school, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to play football. I wanted to take it to the next level, but I was distracted. And I didn't know how to handle adversity. And I remember I tried out for Team Alberta, and during the Team Alberta tryouts, I ended up separating my shoulder. And after that, which by the way, guys, if you fall down, get back up. I'm gonna say if you fall down, you're gonna say get back up. If you fall down, that's not good enough. If you fall down, I didn't get back up. I fell down. I got injured. And who here has ever been injured before? It sucks. If you get injured, get back on the horse immediately. Don't sit on your couch and complain and cry that you were supposed to be successful and then this opportunity got taken from you. That's what I did. And after high school, I started drinking, I started partying, I started screwing around. 19 years old, I got a bartending job at a nightclub. I thought I was hot. I thought I was all that. I thought I was cool. My football dreams started to fade away, right? 19, 20, 21 years old. At 21 years old, I realized that I wanted to play football, so I went back to the Okanagan Sun to try out. I ended up making the team, but I had already ruined 3 years of my eligibility. So I wanted to be a pro just like you guys, right? You guys still, we could be looking at some CFL pros today or some NFL pros. You guys get that? Like it could be you, it could be you, it could be you, it could be you. I wanted that, but I waited too late. If I can give you guys one thing, it's this, okay? I'm gonna give you guys a lot of things, but this is one of the things. Don't wait, repeat it. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Go after what you want, right? Don't take that gap year after high school because you want to party. That's stupid. You're not cool. In 5 years, you're gonna be the guy that's working at McDonald's, working at A&W, while your homie that's working hard is gonna be playing in the league. You gotta put in the work every single day. The way you do something is the way you do everything. And what I was doing is I was being lazy. And so by the time at 21 years old, when I wanted to take it seriously, I'd already lost 3 years of my eligibility, so I only got 2 years. And with that 2 years, like, you're not gonna make it to the league in 2 years. You gotta grind it out. You gotta be nonstop. You gotta be all in, and that's whatever it is that you do. And there might be some of you that are like, oh, you know, I don't need to work hard at this football thing because I don't wanna be a pro football player. It's a weak mentality, because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And if you can't get yourself to focus on the field, how are you gonna focus when you try to go to that job that you wanna create? How are you gonna focus when you're trying to build that business? If you can't get yourself to focus here, if you can't get yourself to grind here, you'll never be successful at anything. You need to go all in with everything that you do. Be the best you can, do the best you can with what you have in this moment. And so for me, I wasn't doing that. And I ruined my eligibility. And so by the time 21, 22 came around, I was kind of lost with my life. I started doing fitness competitions, which I still do. And I was still partying and drinking. By the way, you guys, distractions will kill your dreams. Say that. Distractions will kill your dreams. Say it like you mean it. Distractions will kill your dreams. I'm gonna keep doing this until you guys scream it. Distractions will kill your dreams. You don't understand, man. I was partying, I was drinking, I was smoking weed. I thought I was cool. I was hanging out with girls. You might laugh and think that's cool, but girls aren't gonna be around when you work in a McDonald's, homie. Straight up. You wanna be successful? There's gonna be a lot of girls you make it to the league, I promise you that. The drinking, partying, smoking weed. At 23 years old, I ended up developing a cocaine addiction. I had never done hard drugs in my life. I was, you know, even though I was raised without a father, my auntie always instilled in me, she was like, don't do hard drugs, don't do hard drugs. Man, I was partying, everybody else was doing drugs. I was like, no, thank you, I'll never touch that. And then I got used to it, and I was like, I get it, it's all good. And then I embraced it, and I thought it was cool, and then I started doing it. And I got addicted really fast, and it turned from like 1 night into 2 nights, into 3 nights in a row, then I'd sleep for 24 hours. And I did this for 6 months. So I'd party for 3 days straight, sleep for 24 hours, wake up, party for 3 days straight, sleep for 24 hours. At 23 years old, I started losing everything. I got fired from my first job. After I got fired, I couldn't afford my car because I was spending money on drugs, so my car got repossessed. After my car got repossessed and I couldn't go to work, my roommate kicked me out of my house because I was partying every night. I had to live with my grandma. So now I was using my grandma's car to drive to my second job, which I got fired from because I was doing drugs every day. My third job, and the final time that I got fired, this was 6 months later, literally all of my friends were like, what are you doing with your life, man? Like, you're going downhill fast, and if you don't stop, like, you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until my friend that I was also like addicted to drugs with looked at me in the face, and she's like, you made a big mistake, and like, you need to turn your life around, and like, this is like rock bottom for you. So I remember I went back to my grandma's trailer after getting fired from my last nightclub job. And I walked in, I drove her car back to the house. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and she'd always waited up for me at 3 o'clock in the morning. My grandma's like 65, 70 years old, raising this like 25-year-old grown-ass child. And I walked in the room, and she just looked at me, and she didn't say anything. I just started crying. And in that moment, she didn't ask me what was wrong. I just collapsed on the couch. She went into her room, she grabbed the Bible, she came out. I'm addicted to drugs, got fired from all my jobs. I'd been here for 6 months, and she just started reading me the Bible. She didn't ask me what was wrong. She just loved me unconditionally. And so that moment was the moment that I realized that I needed to change my life. And I still didn't know what I wanted to do, but I realized that I needed to be a better person, because if everybody in my life could abandon me, but this one woman still loved me unconditionally, I realized that I needed to change my life for her. She was the woman that took me in when I was 7 years old, and she was also the woman that was reading me the Bible when I was an addict on the couch at 25. And so I promised myself I was going to be the man that she saw in me, because for some reason, she still saw greatness in me. I didn't see it in myself, but she saw it in me. How many of you guys have somebody like that in your life? They see greatness in you, and sometimes you don't even see it in yourself, right? So she was that person for me. She saw greatness in me, and so I made a commitment. And that's a secret as well. I want you guys to think about that and take that home. You need to make a commitment. I made a commitment. I was like, I'm going to be great. I'm going to be phenomenal. I'm going to take my life to the next level. And I didn't know what that looked like, but I just made a decision. I was like, success or death. How many of you guys ever heard the story of burning the boats? Raise your hand. There was a Spanish sailor. This is in the 1600s. And he sailed across the ocean with his army, right? And he sailed across the ocean. He was going to conquer a bunch of land. And when he got to the land, when he got to the shores, he ordered all of his sailors, burn the ships, burn the boats. They sailed over and then they burned the boats. Anybody know why they did that? They couldn't go back. You burn the boats, which means you either conquer the island or you die. That was the mindset I had. I was like, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to make money. I'm going to change the world, or I'm going to die. Those were the two options. You got to make the commitment. And so I started working on this thing I call the vision. And guys, this is the thing that you need to take home. And this is the thing that you need to understand. And so vision is, I started writing down my goals, and I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to drive a Lamborghini. I'm going to have a mansion. I'm going to have a hot ass wife. I'm going to be jacked as hell. I'm going to be a professional fitness model. I'm going to make money. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to be integral. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to get sober. I started reading this vision every single day. I started getting clean, getting sober, going for runs, working on my fitness, and I was working on this vision every single day. You can take something home, it's work on that vision every single day. Find some photos of some people that you look up to and put them on the wall, and imagine what your life is going to be like when you get to that level. And you can never stop that creation process, because regardless of whether or not you like it, your mind is working with you or against you. And so for me, I channeled all of my powers and I started focusing on the life that I wanted to create. How much money I wanted to make, what kind of car I wanted to drive, what kind of house I wanted to live in, what kind of impact I wanted to have on the world. I created this vision. And if you looked at my life, and some of you guys might be struggling right now, right? Some of you guys might be in a hard time right now. You might have some adversity at home. You might have some adversity internally. Your life might not be in a place that you're happy about. However, that doesn't matter, because if you can get that vision and you can get it so clear in your mind and you can get crystal clear on exactly what you want, you can become unstoppable. You can't see with your eyes, you have to see with your mind. And so I started getting so clear on exactly the type of life I wanted to live, and I wasn't paying attention to the fact that I was living in a trailer. I wasn't paying attention to the fact that I was an addict. I wasn't paying attention to the fact that I had no money. I was paying attention. I was like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna get jacked. I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna make an impact on this world. And I got focused, I got committed. 6 months after my addiction, I registered for a fitness competition, and I told myself I wanted to win. I visualized winning. I visualized holding the trophy up to the light. I visualized stepping on stage and winning. I didn't end up winning that show, but I ended up placing top 3 out of 35 athletes. And that told me, I was like, okay, I can do this. So I went out, I found the best. So I was like, okay, I tried my best. I didn't get the result that I wanted. So I'm going to find the best mentor that I possibly can, and I'm going to get myself to the next level. Registered for another fitness competition. 6 months later, I ended up winning first place, and I won my WBFF Pro card, a men's fitness model. After that, in 2016, people started looking, they're like, bro, you just changed your life really fast. Last year, you were an addict. Now you're a pro fitness model. Like, how'd you do that? So I started helping people with meal plans and training plans. I started an online business. I realized that I could make a career out of that. And so I started training people for like $250 a month, got a few clients, ended up quitting my bartending job, and I started traveling. I went to Bali, I went to Australia. I would spend 4 weeks in Bali working on my online business, taking pictures, going to the gym, recording myself working out. Hit my first $10,000 month in October 2016. 2 years later, I had 8 people working for me. I was making $50,000 a month. And now we make millions of dollars a year. I own Iron Energy Gym on the west side. My Lamborghini's in the parking lot, and I'm living the life of my dreams. So why am I telling you guys this? I'm telling you guys this because there's one of you guys in this crowd that's gonna be the next NFL player. I'm telling you guys this because there's one of you that's meant for something more. All of you are meant for something more, but I can't make you make the decision. You have to make that decision. You have to look inside of you and ask yourself, like, what kind of life do you want to create? Do you just want to be another average person that everybody forgets about? You want to be a name that nobody remembers? Or you want to be somebody that's phenomenal? But you have to make the decision. You need to understand that the way that you do something is the way that you do everything. And all of you can make that commitment. All of you. And it starts with how you show up today. Because if you can't get yourself to show up today, you'll never get yourself to show up to anything. All of you have the power to create whatever life that you want to create. But you do have to make the decision. Nobody's going to do it for you. The coaches can push you, they can mentor you, they can give you ideas, but they can't do the work for you. Only you can do the work. And sometimes it's hard, man. Sometimes you're doing the work and it's almost like your skills aren't progressing. You're not advancing, you're not seeing progress. But you have to get committed, you have to get consistent, you have to be resilient. You have to make the decision that you're going to be unstoppable, and then it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and you have to burn the boats. Give yourself no opportunity but success. It's either success or death. In 2018, I wrote a post and I meant it, and I said, I'm either going to be a multi-millionaire or I'm going to be homeless. And that wasn't me just lip service, that was like, I will literally die in order to succeed. I'm willing to stake my existence. And when you get to that level, I promise you anything is possible. I promise you anything is possible. Guys, you have a beautiful opportunity. I started out on the field just like you. And you can avoid the mistakes that I made, the partying, the drinking, the smoking weed. You're not cool. That's not cool. Too many of you guys lack focus. You lack discipline. Some of you guys are going to be like, man, that guy was crazy. I don't know what he was talking about when you leave here. And there's going to be one or two of you guys that goes home, you start working on your vision. You need to focus. You need to be committed. You need to understand that anything is possible, but you need to make the decision. You need to create the vision. And you need to make the decision that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I will stake my existence on my purpose. And I will do whatever is necessary to achieve success.